The Employees Provident Fund or the EPF is perhaps the first investment that most of us make. If you check your salary statement, you will find the EPF, or as they are more commonly called PF deductions, mentioned. You contribute 12% of your basic salary plus dearness allowance to it, and your employer matches it with another 12%. Now, for most private sector employees, the component of dearness allowance is not there, as it is generally applicable for government employees. So for most of us, it's just 12% of the basic salary. Now, over time, your PF balance earns interest and continues to grow as you progress in your career. So you don't need to do anything to invest in the EPF. It's an automatic process, but its withdrawal is not. While investing in EPF is easy, its withdrawal is rather tricky. For that, you need to understand the EPF withdrawal rules and processes. And that's what we will talk about in this video. Hello and welcome to ET Money's YouTube channel. But before we discuss EPF withdrawal rules, a quick reminder. You are watching this video on our English channel. We also have a Hindi channel जहाँ पे आप ये videos हिंदी में देख सकते हैं. And if you are somebody or know somebody who wants to understand the basics of finance in a quick and interesting way, we have a channel called 5 Minute Finance. Do check it out. Alright, let's begin. Now this video is divided into 4 segments. Rules for the complete EPF withdrawal, rules for partial EPF withdrawals, taxation of these EPF withdrawals, and how to withdraw your EPF. That is the actual process involved. But first, let's start with a quick look at how EPF works. The Employees Provident Fund or the EPF is a social security scheme managed by the Employees Provident Fund Organisation or EPFO. The EPF itself comprises 3 schemes: Employees Provident Fund Scheme or the EPF, Employees Pension Scheme or the EPS, and Employees Deposit Linked Insurance Scheme or the EDLI. The EPF is the retirement savings part, and it is aimed to provide you with a lump sum at time of retirement. The EPS is a retirement income scheme meant to provide you with post-retirement pension, and the EDLI is a life insurance scheme. The minimum and the maximum coverage under EDLI are 2.5 lakh and 7 lakh. Now, when you contribute 12% of your basic salary to the EPF, that 12% goes to the EPF. On the other hand, the employee's contribution of 12% is divided into 2 parts. 8.33% of it goes into the EPS and 3.67% of it goes into EPF. Another 0.5% goes to the EDLI. However, do note that the EPS and EDLI contributions are capped at a basic salary of 15,000. What that means is that even if your basic salary is more than 15,000, the EPS and EDLI contributions will only be calculated on maximum amount of 15,000. So the maximum contribution that will go to EPS will be 8.33% of 15,000 or 1,250. For EDLI, that's 0.5% of 15,000 or rupees 75. The balance will go to the EPF. These rules may sound complicated, so let's understand them with an example. So let's say you have a monthly basic salary of 20,000, and as we discussed earlier, your EPF contribution will be 12% of this 20,000, so 2,400. Next, your employer is also contributing 12%, which comes to another 2,400. From this amount, contributions will be made towards the EPF, the EPS, and the EDLI. Of this 2,400, 1,250 will go to EPS and the remaining 1,150 will go to the EPF only. Do note here that while 8.33% of 20,000 is 1,666, only 1,250 goes to the EPS, and the maximum EPS contribution can be only that. Finally, another 75 will go to the EDLI. If your employer already has group life insurance, they can opt out of EDLI. One more thing, the rules could be slightly different for those who have started working during the past 9 years. If you join the EPF after September 2014 and your basic salary and DA at the time of joining the EPF were more than 15,000, then you won't be part of the EPS scheme. That means the entire 12% of your employer's contribution will also go to the EPF. However, if at the time of joining the EPF, your basic salary and DA were less than 15,000, you will also be enrolled in the EPS. Later, even if your salary crosses the 15,000 threshold, you will continue to remain a member of the EPS with your EPF contribution capped at 1,250. For all this sounds complicated, I understand that, but these are the rules and we have to live with them. So this is how EPF works. If you'd like to know more about its features, we have a video for you. You can find its link in the description. Let's now move to the core part of this video and start with the rules of complete EPF withdrawals. For simplicity, we will only talk about EPF withdrawal in this video and not EPS or EDLI. For EPS and EDLI, we will plan a separate video, so stay tuned. You can make a complete withdrawal from the EPF in two cases. Number one, on retirement, that is 50 years of age. And number two, if you have been unemployed for more than 2 months. You can withdraw 75% of the EPF balance if you have been unemployed for 1 month. Now, many of us would have withdrawn PF after 2 months of changing jobs. So, we were able to withdraw the PF in spite of being actively employed. So, how does that happen? Actually, it's a wrong practice. You were able to do so because you declared in the forms you signed that you have been unemployed for 2 months when you weren't. EPF subscribers are not to be blamed entirely for that. The HR department in many companies also greenlights this practice of EPF withdrawal while changing jobs. Even the EPFO requires almost no additional documents except for a form you fill up and the declaration you give. EPF rules suggest that you cannot withdraw your EPF when you change jobs, though you can transfer it to the new EPF account. And it's advisable to transfer your EPF balance to the new EPF account for two reasons. Number one, you will have just one EPF account and not many, as is the case with many of us who don't transfer their EPF account to the newer account. And managing one EPF account is much simpler and convenient than managing multiple accounts. I've encountered cases where subscribers even lost track of their EPF accounts. Number two, the EPS is meant to be a retirement or a financial hardship solution. If one keeps withdrawing from it and the amounts withdrawn are not invested elsewhere, that can impact one's financial prospects. So complete EPF withdrawals are possible only in two cases, on retirement and in the case of unemployment. There is one more case where complete EPF withdrawals can be made, in the case of death of the subscriber. If the EPF subscriber has passed away, the nominee can fill out required forms at the nearest PF office and provide supporting documents like the death certificate to claim the amount in the deceased EPF account. However, there are many cases where you can withdraw your EPF partly. Let's see them next. The EPFO has mentioned several cases where one can make a partial EPF withdrawal. In the EPF lingo, it's called an advance. For instance, some of the cases for a partial EPF withdrawal include the purchase or construction of a house, repayment of loans, marriage, and so on. Now, there are specific withdrawal limits for each of them, along with the number of years of service required and other requisites. Some of the more prominent cases are summarized in the table on your screen. Now, if you would like to have a detailed view of all the cases, I've included a link to a PDF in this video's description. It mentions the various sub-segments within these paras and their criteria. Let's next see the taxation on EPF withdrawals. If you withdraw your EPF corpus at the time of retirement, you don't have to pay any tax. The EPF is an exempt product in most cases. This means your contributions, interest accumulated, and maturity proceeds are all tax-free. However, employer contributions above 7.5 lakh rupees in a financial year are taxable in the hands of the employee. Any interest earned on the excess contribution is taxable as well. Also, if the employee's contribution exceeds 2.5 lakh rupees in a financial year, the interest on the amount over the 2.5 lakhs is taxable in the hands of the employee. These two provisions have been made to check the use of the EPF to avoid paying taxes by HNIs. But what if you are withdrawing your EPF before retirement? In that case, it's tax-free if you withdraw it after 5 years of continuous service. Now, continuous service doesn't mean that you have to stick to the same company. It could be very well in different companies, but you should have contributed to the EPF without any gaps. But in general, if you are withdrawing the EPF before 5 years, it is taxable. The employee share, employer share, and the interest accrued all become taxable. The employer's contribution becomes taxable as salary income in the hands of the employee. The tax deduction claimed on the employee's contribution is reversed and is treated as income from other sources in the year of withdrawal. The interest accrued on the employees and the employer share is taxable as income from other sources. Now, taxable EPF withdrawals are also subject to TDS or tax deducted as source. TDS is not a tax outgo. You can claim it back while filing your ITR or get it adjusted against the outstanding tax. So if your EPF withdrawal is taxable and exceeds 50,000, TDS is applicable at 10% of the amount if the PAN number has been provided. If the PAN is not available, TDS is applicable at 20% of the withdrawal amount. The withdrawals are not subject to TDS if you submit Form 15G or Form 15H. In these forms, you make the self-declaration that your total income is below the taxable threshold. so no tax should be deducted. Let's now see how you can file the EPF withdrawal claim. You can withdraw the EPF either online or offline. To withdraw your EPF online, you can log into EPFO's unified portal. You must have your UAN or universal account number. You can first activate it on the same portal if it's not activated. The UAN is a 12-digit number allotted by the EPFO to the employees contributing to the EPF. It remains unchanged throughout the life of the employee. It also gets links to various EPF accounts you have opened at the companies you have worked at. So, the UAN enables you to check all your PF accounts in one place. You can ask your employer for that if you don't know your UAN. Alternatively, you can use the same EPFO unified portal to find your UAN. After you have logged into the unified portal, you can go to the Online Services tab. In the drop-down menu, you can select the option Claim, then follow the instructions. But before you proceed to withdraw your EPF through this mode, do ensure you have merged all previous EPF accounts into one account. If you haven't done so, you can do so on the EPF's unified portal as well. Your UAN is linked to your Aadhaar. All your KYC related formalities are completed. After your claim request has been submitted, it takes about 20 days for the EPFO to process your claim. Now, if you want to withdraw your PF offline, you can visit the respective EPFO office and fill out the composite claim form. One more thing, if your employer has a trust that manages employees' EPF, you cannot withdraw your EPF through EPFO's unified portal. You will have to contact your employer for EPF withdrawal. And with this, we have come to the end of this video. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, do share it with your friends and family. And I'll see you with a new video very soon. Till then, take care.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.